What's going on, everyone? This is Maximilian, and I just wanted to touch up on a few things that Taylor was talking about in the new Zombie Challenges video. He and I were kind of talking about this last night, and I, kind of took the idea a little too far, made a bunch of challenges and sent it to him, and he was cool enough to make a video about it, so I just wanted to thank him for that really quick. That was really cool what he did. I'm going to try playing some of these with him in the future, but right now I just wanted to clarify a few things because there's a bit of an ambiguity and some things that need to be corrected. Just to make sure that we got everything on the same page. So, here we go. First things first, all the info that is on the screen in his video is correct, except for two things. The Gersh devices do count as explosive weapons for the Michael Bay monstrosity. I think he mentioned it in the video, but it wasn't actually up there. So yes, you can use Gersh devices. They do count as explosive weapons. However, they also count as special grenades, so if you do use it, like he said, you won't get the bonus for that. And there is a bonus for the Admiral of Agoraphobia. However, when I sent him the document, I had a typo, so it didn't show up correctly, and it wasn't included in the video. So, I just wanted to let you know really quick, the bonus for the Admiral of Agoraphobia is plus 100 points for every round that you've survived. So if you can somehow make it to round 9 or 10 without leaving the first room, then you start getting an extra 1,000 points. Good for you. I'll get to the scoring system and how that applies later, because it's not actually what you think it is. You may use your starting pistol, your M1911, for every challenge, because you have to basically start with that weapon. There really is not much of any other way to get out of there, unless it says, like, unless it's knives only. Although I guess you could probably use it. We're just going to say, like, for the sake of simplicity and keeping things, like, not too difficult, you can use your starting pistol for all the challenges. You can also upgrade it as well. But, like, if it says something like you can only use knives only, you're not going to be allowed to use, say, your Mustang and Sally for a knife-only challenge, because that's just not fair. I mean, come on, guys. You got to get in the spirit of the game, And unless a challenge says otherwise, you may upgrade weapons. So if you're doing, like, pistols only or shotguns only, you can upgrade your weapon at any time you want. And I'll get into a little more detail about what upgrading weapons does to apply to the rules, I guess, a little bit later. But I wanted to clarify that an acquisition, that is like because I use the term acquisition a lot in this document that I sent Taylor, it's kind of like a law thing where you have to clarify every single term that you use. It's really weird. Anywho, an acquisition, for all intents and purposes, is buying a gun from the Waller mystery box, which includes special knives, and buying special knives off the wall is an acquisition, and buying a perk from a vending machine. Things like traps, launchers, zip lines, the whole shebang, and Pack-a-Punch do not include acquisitions. So if a challenge prevents you from acquiring like weapons or something, or prevents you from acquiring anything, you may still upgrade. Pack-a-Punch does not count as an acquisition. Doors and barriers do not count as well, because to acquire something is to get something in return. And you're not gaining anything from either of those. Although Pack-a-Punch, I guess you could technically say you're getting something, but in the end you're feeding something to it, so it's a neutral trade-off, I guess, in the end. But yes, you can use Pack-a-Punch. If you can somehow get that far, be my guest. Now, the scoring system. It is not the points that you use in the game. The way that they score points in this in the game is completely different from these zombie challenges. So this is kind of like an independent scoring system that you may have to put forth a little effort to keep track of yourself. I'll get into it, but it's actually really simple. So basically the scoring system goes 1 point per kill. So let's say you get 1,000 kills, you got 1,000 points right there. And you get plus 1 point for headshot. So essentially you're getting 2 points for every headshot you get and 1 point for every other kill. And this can be multiplied by any other headshot bonuses for challenge, like the Zombieland Zealot or the Sharpshooter Spectacle, things like that. You also add on any miscellaneous bonuses or penalties that you get, like the plus 100 points around from the Admiral of Agoraphobia. And then once you've added everything together, multiply that by any miscellaneous multiplier you may have. Like, let's say you're doing the Lord of Legends and you somehow make it to somewhere decent. You multiply that total sum that you have by 20 or whatever it is. And that will give you your final score. So to give you an example or two, let's say that you're doing the Zombieland Zealot challenge. You get 786 kills and 120 of those are headshots. So you have 76 initial points from your kills. You add 120 bonus points times 5 because the bonus for headshots in the Zombieland Zealot is 5. So your effective total points is 786 plus 120 times 5, which is 786 plus 600. That gives you a grand total of 1,386 total points. So it's actually not that difficult to calculate, but some of these things are a little bit more difficult to keep track of. And here's an example of like the epic endeavor. Like, how does a bonus multiplier apply? The bonus multipliers apply when all sums are taken into account, including bonuses for headshots and miscellaneous bonuses. So let's say for the epic endeavor you get 135 kills, 56 headshots, and you got the bonus for no weapons being upgraded. You get 135 points for your kills, plus 56 for your headshots. And you multiply that entire sum, which is 191, by 5 because you didn't upgrade any weapons, which will give you 955 total points. Fairly simple. If you have any questions, just leave a comment in the video, and I will clarify that for you. I'm fairly quick at responding to these things. Now for closing notes, at the moment these game types haven't been tested for head-to-head play, like pitting one challenge against another. Rather, these are intended to be played against themselves. Like, let's say that you're playing, the Zombieland Zealot or the Webley Wonder. Your scores are going to be pitted against scores for people who have played that same challenge. Because right now, we haven't actually balanced these or tested them for balance to say, like, let's say one player picks Webley, one player picks Zombieland Challenge. And they go head-to-head to see who can get the higher score. I'm pretty sure right off the bat that these definitely aren't perfectly balanced, but Taylor and I are going to try to do that in the future, so that way we can like randomly take a challenge before we start a game and see who can come out with the higher score. Something like that. For the Mystery Menace challenge, he didn't really specifically give any kind of a time frame for which you had to get rid of your weapons for the mystery box, because like the whole idea is to keep using it over and over again. So I wanted to clarify that for the Mystery Menace challenge, that after you have possessed a weapon for 2 rounds, you must switch it unless daunting circumstances dictate otherwise. I.e. something like, after you've had it for 2 rounds, you suddenly get monkeys showing up. Like, you're not going to take your time to go to the mystery box in the middle of that round and change out your gun. Like, that's acceptable. But you just want to keep churning out your weapons to like, keep this fun and at the same time, you know, staying in the spirit of the challenge. And also, in reference to the more ridiculous challenges, like the Mad MacGyver, the special knives, like the Bowie knife and the sickle, don't officially count as weapons. So you can, when it says that you can't buy weapons, like in the Mad MacGyver, you may still buy Bowie knives and sickles, because these aren't guns. However, you still can't purchase any of these said knives for the Lord of Legends challenge, because this explicitly states that you may not acquire anything. Anything. That's right, it includes those fancy schmancy knives. So, don't buy the knives. Can't cheat on the Lord of Legends. If you want to get a really good score, you're going to have to be really, really good. So, that's all I've got for you. If you have any comments, send me a message or leave a comment on the video, and leave a like on Taylor's channel, or Taylor's video, sorry. And if you want, like this video as well, because likes are awesome. See you guys later.